Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Christine B, and I would love to share a monologue with you about snow. There's a reason why I live where I live now, okay? I could tell you a few things, and you're gonna be like, what? Impossible. No, it is possible. Growing up in New England, I know a lot about snow. Sometimes it's very dangerous to drive in the snow because in the afternoon, like around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, that snow gets very, very cold. It gets very, very hard. And sometimes when it starts to flurry over that hard snow, it makes it very dangerous to drive in. So you gotta be careful. That's number one. Number two, if you're from New England and you don't know how to drive a stick shift, what are you doing? That's the best type of vehicle to drive in the snow. So let's start off when I was young. My brother and I used to make snow forts, snow hills, snow castles, whatever. And I thought I was invincible one day. I wanted to have superpowers, so I ran and jumped into my sled and went down a hill in my backyard and went boink, right into my house. Yup, I was seeing Tinkerbell, stars, moons, galaxies, whatever. It didn't feel very good. I was like, ow. My brother comes running over, are you okay? I'm like, no. So we went in the house. Then my mother made me hot chocolate. That was great. But she said, you gotta be careful. I'm like, well, part of it is because I can't maneuver. I don't know if you realize back in the day, we had to wear long johns from head to toe. And then on top of that, put on a snowsuit, a snow jacket, a scarf, a hat, gloves, mittens, face mask, whatever. So you're walking around like this and you're trying to maneuver, trying your best to manipulate and drive through the snow. No, it didn't work, and I landed on my back. Next event I can recall was we went skiing up in Canada. Now, we went skiing a lot. I've skied just about every single mountain there is in Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine, except for Killington. We didn't do Killington. So we went to Canada and to Montreal, and we skied at this big mountain called Mount Tremblant. And we had, well, I should say, my mother, my brother, and I had a ski instructor, and his name was Benoit Fauché. I remember this also clearly, as if it was yesterday. Hey, that kind of rhymes. I was 9 years old. I was in the 4th grade. And my dad didn't really need ski lessons because he kind of knew what he was doing. You know, he's had more experience. So my brother, my mother, and I were the ones who needed a little bit of help. Now, mind you, we were all beginners when we started, and then once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to follow up and go into novice. At the bottom of the mountain, there is a base lodge. Now, that's where you get your lift tickets. That's where you can eat there. That's where there's a parking lot so you can park your cars. And then there's I want to say a midway base station. So if you go up half of the mountain, there's another lodge just like that, but except obviously you can't park there. But you can eat there, and if folks skiing from the top of the mountain, a lot of them would just ski down to this mid-base lodge and then take the chairlift and go back up to the top of the mountain and do it all over again. Well, I skied with my dad a couple of times, and what happened was you have to take a chairlift up to the mountain, to mid-base. One of the chairlifts we decided to do because we decided to go on another part of the mountain, and the chairlift was coming around. I don't know if any of you have ever tried a chairlift, but you have to like look, grab the side of it, and plop, right? So the chairlift was coming around the bend, and my dad and I ski up to where we're supposed to be to catch the chairlift. I'm realizing at this point the chairlift is a little bit taller than I am, and I start to panic. And as soon as the chairlift comes, it hits me in the back of my head. Ow! Once again, I fall. I'm laying on my back. I'm seeing stars, the moons, Tinkerbell, everything, right? I noticed I turned this way, and my dad was sitting on the chairlift, but it stopped into a halt, right? I've never seen him loosen up his binding so quick, jump off that chair, skis fell. He was coming over like a stormtrooper because it's very hard to walk in ski boots. And he picks me up and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was crying, and I think I heard him say something to the chairlift folks, but I could be wrong. For the rest of the day, I sat on the base lodge. We'll leave it at that. And I had my hot chocolate. That was my second bad experience. My third experience, same mountain, but my mom had this crazy idea because she agreed with Benoit that we were going to go up to the top of the mountain. Oh, there's going to be beginner slopes and to novice slopes. You'll be fine. Okay, cool. So we're at the mid base. We have to take a chair all the way up to the mountain. So I'm riding with my mom at this point. We get to the top of the mountain, and now it starts to flurry. And all of a sudden, it looks like there's no more mountain for me to ski down at the top. You know, you ski down, then you go your way. It looks like we're going to go over the top of the mountain. So I start panicking and crying. We're going to fall. We're going to die. Oh. My mom was like, "We're not, stop it." And I was like, "Yes, we are." So we get to the top of the mountain, and because I was so scared, I purposely made myself fall. So she skis down just fine, and I ski, and I fall on purpose because I really thought that I was going to go over the mountain. Not the case. We didn't go over the mountain because as I looked around feeling really stupid, there was a bunch of gates and people skiing around me. There was plenty of room for me to ski down the little ramp after you get off the chairlift. It just appeared that way. I guess maybe they did it for, oh wow, you know, picturesque, you know. It was not picturesque for me. It was frightening. All right. So then I had to get up. I had to find my way to get up. It's very hard to get up when you have skis attached to you when you're on, you know, level plane. So I did. And Benoit comes skiing over. "Why did you fall?" And I told him. He was like, "No, don't do that. Oh, no." So we ended up skiing down the mountain, and that was great. Well, my dad decides to enter this skiing contest. And remember how I told you before, the snow, it starts to get cold at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Well, my dad wanted to show off his expertise, and you know, and that's fine because my dad is a great skier, but we didn't know that we had to wait all afternoon. So we're waiting at the base lodge. Okay, when they kept announcing everybody else's name, and we're like, what? No. He was one of the last ones, and I'm like freezing at this time. I'm like, "I want to go inside." My mom's like, "You need to wait." Yeah. I was like, "Okay." So finally my dad gets called and he comes skiing down the mountain. Like, woo. I was like, "Yeah, that's my dad." And by the time he got there, he was like, "What's wrong with you?" "I'm cold. That's what's wrong with me." Oh my goodness. It was so funny. But not as funny as this one. So when I turned 18, I thought it was cool. So I invited a few friends to have like kind of like a slumber party. At the time it was Howard Johnson's, and we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go there, have a slumber party away from my parents, and you know, just hang out, watch TV, MTV all night, and get something to eat in a restaurant, blah, 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 blah." Wow, word of mouth. Next thing I know, practically the whole high school's at this party. And they came when I went to go get some French fries. I come back from getting French fries, and there's the cops at the door, and there's all these people going in, out, in, out. Guess who gets arrested? Me, because the room was in my name. Somebody broke the screen door in the back, and I get arrested. Next thing you know, my parents, they had to come to the police station at 12:30 in the morning to get me out of jail. They were so mad. They didn't even say one word to me all the way home. My punishment was, guess what? Yes, you guessed it. To shovel all the snow in front of my house. And then we had a store next door, the clothing store. I had to shovel that snow too. And it was wet, heavy snow. I was like, no, I'm so not VIP. I'm done. I'm done with snow. Here I am in a nice tropical place, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Thank you for listening.